All right, we got a fight night coming up. You know what that means? Fight breakdown time. I'll talk about some of the strengths of these gentlemen, Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland, and then I will go over some of the weaknesses that they have that I think the other may be able to exploit, and I'll tell you who I think is probably more likely to win. Yeah, let's get started. Uriah Hall, very notable, powerful counter striker. He throws very good spinning kicks, spinning hook kicks, spinning back kicks. Very good jab, very crisp. He's good at slipping his head to the inside of it as well. Very good at timing his right counter. Very strong with it too. When he does get the timing of it, he's able to finish the fight with it. He's a bit slow to getting the timing for it, but when he does, he's very good at actually landing it and being effective with it. He will do nice little oblique kicks and low kicks to help keep people from rushing in on him. Sean Strickland is a little less on the crispy technique, but he puts on pressure, a forward pressure. He throws a very good fast jab. And he uses it very actively. Hall doesn't use it as actively, whereas Strickland will use it quite often. He'll really use it to pressure and try to break and force the other fighter to do something and walk into one of his other punches. I also really like his left hook that he will look for and throw. He's got a good right hand. He throws it very tight sometimes, and then he will also switch between throwing more of an overhand over the opponent's jab or more of a right hook. Sometimes it's nice to see that he's versatile with it, and he's good at putting on longer combinations when opponents get hurt. When they're along the fence, tiring or either wobbled after a big shot, he will put on nice combinations, hitting to the body, head, uppercuts until they fold. Not as much of a powerful one-shot striker, but more of a pressure-oriented volume. He gets his opponents to crack. He will offensively clinch up and pressure them on the fence, pressure opponents on the fence at times to mix it up, which is good to see. And he also has very good defensive sprawls when opponents try to wrestle him. Don't really think that will be seen much here in this fight. And I like the way he parries punches with his rear hand when he's jabbing. That's nice. And he has good, solid, reactive head movement. Some of the things that I think will be a weakness for these guys, we'll start with Uriah Hall. He very notably hates pressure and is a slow starter, so it's a bit of Cerrone syndrome, I'll call it. But someone who comes out hot early and is putting on pressure with the punches, kicks, or wrestling can really get him flustered and off his A game, and he'll struggle to find his timing. And he'll, especially if you can get ahead early, he's a bit of a slower, less of a volume striker anyway. You can really get a big gap on the scorecards just based off that, especially if he's already flustered, isn't able to get his timing. That's really something to worry about, especially against an opponent like Strickland, who will do that, who will put on pressure. He doesn't normally do it with the wrestling, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him clinch up and force Uriah Hall to exert some strength there. The other things that I don't like so much, Hall doesn't throw his kicks that often and doesn't finish combinations with kicks that often, and he has really good kicks. So it's a bit of a bummer to see that. He throws his strikes more as single powerful shots or just uses the jab to set it up. He doesn't really strike with punches to the body often or ever. Same thing with kicks, other than the occasional body roundhouse or spinning back kick. I'd like to see that a bit more. He's pretty headhuntery with his shots, and he only really likes to throw single shots, which is a problem. That will really be an issue for him if this fight goes the distance. Likely for Strickland to get the nod because he has a lot more volume. And the other things that I see is when he gets on the ground, he does not really look for sweeps or get-ups or submissions or anything. He goes for clutching and holding tight and trying to get the stand-up from the ref, which is not a good way of getting up to your feet. It's not very reliable. You can't rely on the ref to get you to the feet. You need to get up by yourself to really be effective, because you can lose whole rounds on your back that way. So those are some things that we would need to worry about if you're Uriah Hall's corner. If you're Sean Strickland, some of the things that I see that could be an issue for him, he does keep his head and chin very up high in the middle. While he is good at parrying and doing reactive head movement, pulling back, it's still, that chin is there to be countered at some point in the fight, especially if Uriah Hall isn't getting pressured or isn't crumbling early on. I could see that being an issue. I could see him walking into something. As well as sometimes he will wade with his punches. He'll step, with his opposite foot and punch with the opposite hand. And kind of punch that way like a robot. And that's a good way to get countered, especially by one of those right hands of Uriah Hall. That could be a problem for him. I could see the leg kicks being an issue from Uriah Hall. He doesn't really check them that well, and he can have issues. And he has hurt knees, so that would be something to target if you're Uriah Hall. But other than that, I don't really see a whole lot of vulnerability. I feel, since Strickland, he does have the Hall's big path to success. Uriah Hall is going to be looking for his one big shot to take Strickland out, and Strickland just has to pray that the chin holds up if it hits, and fight defensively, and fighting behind his jab, pressure Hall, do the things that he normally does. It's more reliable for that. He's going to be getting points. If it does get to the end, he's probably going to get the nod. Likely that he gets a finish on Uriah Hall, because Uriah Hall backs up to the fence, throwing one of these big unending combinations on him. I think this will be a tough fight for Hall. So I would probably put my money on Strickland if I was a betting man, but I definitely don't think it's going to be a wash by any stretch. Hall definitely has the abilities and has the technique. He has the skills to finish Strickland. Whether he actually can string us together and whether he's mentally able to do that is a different thing. So we'll have to see. And Strickland's a younger guy. Hall's getting a little bit older, probably slowing down a bit, as one does as they get in their late 30s. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I'd probably take this maybe 60% towards Sean Strickland, 40% Uriah Hall. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Strickland get dropped and finished or something like that. But yeah, that's the smart man's money. Other than that, I hear that there's a pretty good Bellator card up this weekend. Don't really know much about the fighters, so I'm not going to really do a little breakdown or anything on it. But if you like fights, you should tune into that as well. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If you like the content, subscribe. And I'll have another breakdown video out sometime soon. Thanks.